Hey guys, welcome back to the Chelsweets kitchen. Today we're doing something a little bit out of the ordinary, and I'm collaborating with Blue Ribbon Fried Chicken to make a chicken and waffles cake. So there's a lot going on here, but it all comes together in the end and it's going to be delicious. So I've made 4 layers of a buttermilk cake recipe, which is super light and fluffy. I made a maple bourbon buttercream, which we're going to use to frost the cake. And we're also going to be decorating it with a drizzle of a spicy caramel, which is my no thermometer caramel recipe with a touch of cayenne. We're also, of course, going to be garnishing the cake with some miniature waffles and, of course, some delicious fried chicken. So it should be a really great cake. Let's get started on the assembly. So just like always, we're starting with a little bit of buttercream on our cake circle to make sure we can secure our first cake layer against the cake base. So we're going to set this down and apply a nice layer of buttercream between each layer. So we're going to repeat this process with our remaining cake layers. So now that we have our 4 layers stacked, we're going to apply a thin crumb coat all around the cake. So once I have the cake fully covered, I like to just spin it around with my offset spatula a little bit to make sure that it really is evenly covered around the cake. I then like to fill in any spots that I think might need a little bit more buttercream, and then I smooth out the top. So now that we've covered our cake pretty evenly with buttercream, we're going to use an offset spatula to scrape away any excess so that we have a pretty thin crumb coat, because we're going to add another layer of frosting onto this once it's chilled. And that's how you get those really nice smooth sides. And we're just going to smooth out the top now by dragging the cake bench in towards us and pulling that extra frosting into the center of the cake. So now that our cake is fully coated and our crumb coat is pretty smooth, we're going to pop this into the freezer for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to apply another coat of our maple bourbon buttercream. Now that our crumb coat has firmed up nicely in the freezer, we're going to apply another layer of buttercream, which we're going to smooth one more time to get those nice smooth sides. So we're ready to smooth out our second layer. And when you're using your cake bench, you just want to make sure you're applying an even amount of pressure and you're keeping the base of your cake bench level against your cake base. So I like to scrape off my excess as I go. And I just like to try to make nice, long, smooth motions. And if you notice any areas that need a little bit more frosting, just dab a little and then smooth it out. Because inevitably there'll be a few spots where you'll need to fill in just a touch. So now that our sides are nice and smooth, we're going to just pull the top over one more time. Now that we have our second layer of buttercream all nice and smooth, we're going to take our miniature waffles that we've made and we're going to stick them around the base of the cake by gently pressing them in. Now that we have our waffles on our cake, I'm going to be taking a closed star tip, which is a Wilton 1M, to apply some swirls on top of the cake. Now that we have our fun little swirls on, I've taken some of my miniature waffles, which you can see here, and I've used a very tiny cookie cutter to cut out little circles of the waffle, and I'm now going to take these little baby waffles and I'm going to insert them into our little swirls. So now that we have all of our mini waffle bits on top of our cake, I'm going to drizzle our spicy caramel around our little swirls. So using the remaining buttercream that we have left over, I'm going to make a giant swirl in the center of the cake, which is going to help secure the drumsticks that we're about to add to the center. So we're just going to nestle these guys in here, and they're going to kind of support their own weight. Perfect. And just like that, our chicken and waffles cake is complete. Special thanks to Blue Ribbon Fried Chicken for the amazing drumsticks. To see the recipe for this cake and all of my other sweets, you can visit Chelsweets.com. You can also see more of my creations on Instagram at Chelsweets. Now let's cut into this cake. Alright guys, moment of truth. Oh my god, that caramel's good.
Good.